Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. This is a video to go over homework number 106, so please post this on Google Classroom so you get credit for it. So this homework is on scatter plots and graphing scatter plots and the different types of correlation. So here we go. Number 1, Melissa works in a shoe store after school. For homework, her class was asked to make observations and collect data to be graphed. Melissa had once heard that the length of a person's forearm is relative to their shoe size. She asked 7 women in the store to take their measurement. Her collected data is given in the accompanied table. So basically for this one, you had to just do a scatter plot. So you're just plotting all these points. So 5 goes with 7.5, 6 goes with 8, 6 goes with 8.25, 7 goes with 8.75, 7.5 goes with 8.5, 8 goes with 9, and 9 goes with 9.5. This had a positive correlation. Notice right there, these are breaks. This is how this packet does break. So this is what it should look like. Okay, which of the following sets data has a univariate? Remember, univariate. Uni meaning one. It's not compared to anything. It's just one variable. So the answer is B. The shoe size for each girl on the youth soccer team. So all they're talking about in this example is just the shoe size, and that is it. Number 3, which of the following data is bivariate? Remember, bi meaning two. That's the comparison of two different variables. So this is choice A. The numbers of hours, that's the first one, a student spends studying for a test. And here's the second one, a grade they receive. So it's the only one that shows two variables. Okay, so same thing, univariate or bivariate for the next two. The time in seconds of 20 students running. So the only thing you're talking about here is the time. One variable is univariate. Number of push-ups done by 40 women after X weeks. So push-ups and weeks, that's two different things you're comparing. So that is bivariates. All right, so 6 was a little tricky, and I actually messed up myself first because I wasn't paying attention, so just be careful. For botany class project, Robert wonders if there's a connection between the size of a watermelon and the depth of its roots. 8 watermelon vines are chosen at random. At the end of the 7 weeks, the watermelons and their roots are measured. So you gotta just be careful because we always assume that X comes first and Y comes second. And this time it didn't. This is actually the Y and this is the X. So I don't know why they did this way, but just be careful. Even if you try to do the first one, 25 and 19, well, there is no 25 for the X, and that's how you could probably figure out that that they're backwards or they're mixed up. So this is what it should look like when you're done graphing it, and it's a positive correlation. All right, number 7, in one of Boston city parks is a problem with loose dogs. Dog catcher takes a random sample of 8 days and compiles the following data. For each day, X represents the number of visits by the dog catcher to the park, and Y the number of reported dogs. So this is just, again, just basic graphing. It was nice. Almost all of these were all set up for you already. Just make sure you have your X and your Y on each one of them. So I'll just plot the points, and this is what it should look like. It should look like a negative correlation. All right, number 8, which scatter plot shows the strongest positive? So first of all, these two are the only ones that are positive. This is none, and this is negative. This would be weak, and this would be strong. So your answer is A. Number 9, what can we show about this graph? Which statement is correct? This definitely looks like a positive. So let's see, negative, negative. So the answer is C, positive correlation. Number 10, this is all over the place, so that's going to be no correlation. Number 11, okay, this one you might have had a little trouble with, and maybe some of you just use guess and check and process elimination to kind of figure it out. This more is what we're going to talk about today in today's lesson 107. So the scatter plot below shows the relationship between the number of hours studying for an exam and the Regents' grade received on that exam. So what number could approximate the correlation between the independent and dependent? So if you notice, there's all numbers here. Okay, you have 2 negatives, a 0, and a positive. So the negatives would stand for negative correlation. Those would be the dots be going down. Your 0 would be bunched all over the place, so no correlation. This is your only positive. If you notice, this is a positive correlation, so you pick the positive number. So these numbers are something called a correlation coefficient, and I'm going to show you how to figure that out on your calculator in today's lesson. All right, 12. The points in the scatter plot below represent the ages of automobiles and their values. We could see it's a negative, and the only one that says anything about negative is C. Age and value have a correlation as less than 0. All right, for the next one, positive, negative, or I don't know why this doesn't exist. It should be no correlation. So this one's positive. This one I'm going to go with no correlation. If you put weak positive, I probably wouldn't mark it wrong. But the answer key does say no correlation. 15 is negative. 16, which of the following statement shows a relationship that is correlated but not causal? Remember, causal is 100% one thing causes the other. You know, that blizzard, we get 6 feet of snow, that causes us to not have school. So we're looking for one, which one does not cause it? And the answer is B. The increase of warm, sunny days and the number of ice cream vendors visible. So just because it's getting warmer doesn't mean you're going to have more ice cream vendors visible, because you can have ice cream in the winter if you wanted to have ice cream. So that's the only one that's not causal. So let's look at the other ones actually. The number of hours worked and how much money is made. So that makes sense. The more money you work, the more you make. The amount of rainfall received and level of water. So if you get more rainfall, there's definitely going to be more water. The number of lights left on each day and the amount of electric bill. So the more, I do this all the time, though you leave a lot of lights on and then your electric bill goes up. So all of these, the first thing causes the second thing. This is the only one that you can't prove, because again, you can have ice cream in the winter. You can have, you know, ice cream people coming around when it's not sunny and things like that. So, okay, which of the following is 100% causal? So that's D. The number of minutes spent exercising and the amount of calories burned. That is correct. Let's just look at the other one. It says child's weight increases, so does the vocabulary. Doesn't mean just because you're, you know, weigh more, your vocab goes up. Construction, skin cancer, temperature, and increase. Yeah, so none of those. This is the only one 100% where the minutes spent exercising will affect your calories burned. All right, 18. Researchers have found that cities with more low-income housing have more homeless people. Do you think these two variables are correlated? Yes. Do you mean just they have a relationship? Do you think that having more low-income housing causes there to be more homeless? So the two are correlated, but the first does not cause the second. You can't 100% prove it. 19, identify the relationship between two quantities. And the given question is causation or correlation. So the number of cold, snowy days, cold, snowy days, and the amount of hot chocolate sold at a ski resort. So there is no causation. It's just causation. Just because it's snowy does not mean that you're going to sell a lot of hot chocolate, okay? You could have, it could be during the summer, and you could have a sale on hot chocolate, and they could, sell a ton of hot chocolate. So one thing does not cause the other. There is a relationship where probably if it's snowy, you tend to do more, but one does not cause the other. You have to be 100% positive. 100% you could tell that it causes it. All right, 20. For 10 days, Romero kept a record of the number of hours he spent listening to music. The information is shown on the table. So let's see which is correct. So all of them have days for the X. So basically, you're just going to go through and just keep plotting until you get the right one. And that's choice C. 21, we're looking for a negative correlation. The only one that has a negative correlation is D. So hopefully you did okay. If not, if you have any problems, just reach out to me. If not, please make sure you post it on Google Classroom. Thanks.